We're live with Harrowings and the Passing, Harrowings
Oh,
podcast with Kay Stoner. I'm used to saying it. I'm live
hello.
with the Passing show now. I've been doing a lot of that, going live on the streets because it's curious to me to walk around Washington, D.C. with the government shut down and
Yeah.
not as much to do. But now it's open. So after this, I'm going to head down the street and revisit some of my old haunts that weren't
Oh,
available.
there you go.
So, what are you going to do with your day, and what's on your front, and how's the book going, and things
I'm
like
working
that?
on the book. Yeah, I'm working on the book. I'm setting up, doing the whole, content strategy thing and everything. And I'm also setting up a notebook LM instance for it with like audio and discussions of it and where people can actually interact with it and talk to it and say,
And
because but
and maybe introduce it for those people who don't know what the heck.
oh yeah, the book. Here, it's right over here. One second.
Yeah, let's do a proper introduction because you just really got it out there in front of people in all its
I
glory.
did. Here it is. AI self-defense. How to stay safe and human in an algorithmic world. Ever so important. Very
Hey,
time.
thumbs up.
And it's like, why isn't anybody else writing about this? I don't know. I mean, it's like a great puzzlement to me. Like everybody's like, oh no, AI is terrible, terrible. Like acting like we have nothing to do about it. Like we can't do anything about this. Actually, there's a lot that you can do if we take the lead. And it's hilarious because without anthropomorphizing it or anything, the AIs that I talk to, whether it's Claude or it's Gemini or it's ChatGPT or whoever, like Kimmy, Quen, they're they say they like the response that I get back from them is you humans need to take the lead. If I'm wrong, you need to correct me, you need to watch me because I am just going to put stuff out there. They're very clear about their capabilities, and they're also very clear about their limitations. At least with me, they are. But a lot of this
Right.
stuff has been unsolicited. I'm like, wait, it's not, and they're just the information is just being volunteered. So what am I supposed to do? I'm like, oh no, they're just talking through their hats or whatever. Like if a model says something, yeah, okay, so maybe it's hallucination. You could make an argument for that. But if there's a consistent message coming from all of them without them apparently talking to each other as far as we know, um, that it's there. And the fact of the matter is we can and we should get involved with this. We should learn to defend ourselves because it's not defending ourselves from AI, it's defending ourselves from these system designs that are problematic.
Yeah.
So,
And I think what you were saying earlier about the system design itself being at fault because
right.
they basically threw something over the wall that
Mhm,
was perhaps ill thought out at first. I mean, we've had, I understand, 7 more lawsuits
mhm.
on the case of harm done, suicides, led
Oh.
the wrong way. That showed up in my general AI
Oh,
conference
it's it's
webpage. They've got
it's making
actually a
it.
good news feed on the subject, actually, at
Yeah,
Enterprise AI World, which
yeah.
is the upcoming conference I'll be attending on Monday through
Mhm,
Thursday next week.
mhm.
So I expect to learn a lot more. And
Yeah.
that's where I am right now. I'm in that learning phase. And you're out there on the front lines, have been.
I'm learning too.
Wow.
We're all learning. Like
Right.
like AI is learning. We're all learning. I do wanna say something. So
Yeah.
Jen McCrae, like, she's, a great, resource, and she had an excellent post about all of this talk about the 7 new lawsuits, and apparently those 7 lawsuits were coordinated by, an organization. So it's not just like people randomly, "Oh, by the way, oh, you're suing OpenAI? Oh, me too. Horrible things happen because of ChatGPT? Oh, yeah, me too." It's not like that. This is a concerted effort, and, so we have to look at what's going on there, and we also have to look at how the whole conversation is being framed. Who's speaking? What's the expression cui bono or cui bon who benefits from this? And yes, absolutely, they need to take a pause, because using us all as their little guinea pigs and their beta testers, eh, um, we're not getting paid for it. So this is unpaid
No,
labor.
and, my wife
Um,
this morning when I was asking a question about the opening times for the National Gallery of Art, she says, I understand that every time you ask a question, it consumes a bottle of water, for cooling
oh,
compute.
so
And actually, that apparently is not correct. It takes about
right,
6 milliliters of water, but
right.
still, that's significant when it's added up over billions of queries. You know,
Well, Ethan Mollick. So here's my latest little one of my soapboxes. I have a series of them that I jump up on. Um, but the Ethan Mollick made a really good point that when we compare the energy and the water consumption of AI to the water and energy consumption of manufacturing, it is dwarfed in comparison. And we all like our things. This glass, this glass mug, we like our things. My old pair of binoculars, our phones, we all like our things. So it seems extremely disingenuous and picking and choosing to pick out AI, which is the one thing that's using, like, is that glass of water, is that glass that you just drank water out of, that is that going to directly help you solve, like, serious problems in your life? Maybe.
I could be drinking out
It's
of
like
something else. Okay.
right, exactly. It's an incredible tool, and that it actually this is actually a tool that, yes, it does use resources. Everything we do uses resources. So people need to educate themselves about how polluting and how like hungry our processes are to create the stuff that we just take for granted. Oh yeah, we go shopping. I mean, has anybody thought about the packaging of all the stuff that's in the stores? And we just don't even think anything about it. But so to pick and choose and say, "Oh, AI bad," because it's just doing the same thing that everything else does, and to zero in on that, I think, like, we have to do some, like, actual thinking about these things instead of just deciding, "Oh, well, it's owned by these tech bros and these 1%, and there's a whole ideology behind it." But can we just have some clarity of thought around it? And then, look at how we can change things all across the board. I mean, I make conscious decisions all the time. I do not lead the kind of life that everybody else leads. 'Cause I don't wanna have to live with myself with with that kind of stuff, but that's a personal decision for me. Everybody's gonna do what they're gonna do. At the same time, don't be picking and choosing and, like, just zero in on that because, number 1, you don't understand it. Number 2, it falls in line with some ideology that somebody handed to you on your Facebook feed. Give it some real thought and do some real education around it and understand the extent to which we consume water,
Yeah.
electricity, everything, and
Yeah, and
stop
how things work
it.
behind the scenes, I think, is so
Right,
important for people to
right,
understand too.
right,
Particularly that resource allocation grouping or whatever they do with the vector databases and the
right,
weightings of
right.
terms in order to come up in this very fast compute
Yeah,
with what seems like coherent language back
mm,
to us,
right.
and often with a whole lot more
Simulation of coherent language.
and a whole lot more material because it goes out into the web search and it
Right,
scans the X feed in
right,
case of Grok or
right,
whatever.
right,
Um, and you're pulling a lot of research together, and it's actually pretty well grouped for
right,
answering your question. But
right,
then you can really need to do the research. You really need to do your own research and actually not just take it on face
right,
value that this is correct. For
right.
instance, if I showed up today at the East Wing of the National Gallery, I would find it closed. And initially, it started telling me that it was open. And then I
Well,
said, "Are you
you
sure about that?" Because yesterday I was understanding it was opening on November 17th.
see, I wouldn't ask AI anything about, like,
Goes
current
on that.
current stuff because, first of all, it's training. It's just gonna come up with whatever sounds good for that kind of stuff.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
sometimes with
that's
it,
how it's framed, but you
but
just
do your
no,
own
so just
research.
go to the website. Yeah, like, that's the one thing you can Google for because Google Maps, and then you can see the whatchamacallits,
Yep.
the opening times and stuff, and then call them. But yeah, I wouldn't use AI to check, like, the open status on anything because
I
if
use it
they're
for
like, "Oh,
whatever I
they would
feel
like
like,
to
but
hear it they would like to hear that it's open, so I'm gonna tell them."
I think you hit upon another thing that's really important, which is we need to be good ancestors. So when you do make conscious choices in your own life
Mhm,
constantly,
mhm.
thinking about the impact of your actions and my actions and
Right,
everybody else's actions, I think that's something that we haven't really trained for in our
right.
culture as much as we oughta. We've gotten very used to having things delivered to us, for instance, as opposed to
Yeah,
having to go out and get them now.
yeah,
Um, and I
right.
think this medium, being able to talk,
Yeah.
person to person, like on a Dick Tracy video phone thing on your
Yes.
watch,
Yeah,
those things. And I'm actually used to use that when I had a Apple Watch. I lost mine.
yeah.
Ended up deciding I didn't like it anyway.
Right.
so,
It's
um,
like an electronic leash. You can't get away from it.
and the phone is good enough for that for me.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
I don't need another device.
yeah.
But I think that's sort of along the lines of what you were talking about when you were getting to,
Mm.
like, the glass of water or, the different things we have,
Right,
the stuff. You had
right,
binoculars, you had
right.
so maybe take that on.
Yeah.
Where are you
I mean,
going with
I
that?
think that, with the and, like, at a higher level, thinking about things, is it an investment or is it a waste? So or is it an expense? Is it an expense or is it an investment? Is that energy that the energy, the water, all of that, is that going only in one direction? Like, for example, like throwaway stuff that is manufactured. That's an expense. That's not an investment. Okay, you could argue that the stuff that the packaging surrounds is something that's useful for you, but it's just a different type of use, and it's a different type of use pattern. And to be clear, I'm not particularly happy with them building all these data centers with this outdated technology that's not even going to be relevant in another few years. I mean, they already have chips that are 90% less energy hungry, and they have chips that operate on light instead of other things that they need. So there's all sorts of room for innovation, but they're building these massive data centers with all this old technology that's hungry and that's wasteful and it's polluting and it's horrible, and maybe that's where we are for the time being, but it's not sustainable. It can't go on. If they're gonna survive, if we're gonna survive, we can't keep doing that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean stopping AI because that can help us get past our current speed bump or like the pothole or the sinkhole that we're all in right now.
Well, that's right. I think I see out there in the world just walking around is
Oh,
inefficiency, right?
it's
And
horrible.
I
Yeah.
was trained up in the Air Force's Office of Business Transformation to think
Mm,
in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. We called it E
right.
squared.
Mhm.
And that business transformation, was the idea that we've got some very inefficient processes that are costing us a lot more than they ought to, and we might be
Right.
able to streamline those things. And one of the things they were working on at the time was semantically enabled web services that would be allow for instead of having to build these incredibly large, complex enterprise resource planning investments. And they had one at the time called the Expeditionary Combat Support System,
Right.
whose plug was pulled eventually and was broken down into four other initiatives. So they still needed the things it was supposed to do, but they
Right.
realized we've thrown $1.2 billion into this, and we'll throw another billion in to get one quarter of what was initially promised. That
Right.
was kind of the analysis that was done when they
Ouch.
pulled the plug on it. But I'm not sure they didn't end up just wasting even more money when they broke it down into four individual um, components that also were quite complex,
Right.
which
Right.
handle logistics issues in particular.
Well, if it's a military endeavor, it wouldn't surprise me.
And when you
Having
think
worked with many, many former military folks, I've heard all the stories about how
right,
well, I mean, snafu and FUBAR come from the military.
they do love
That's
their
where the
acronyms. I
acronyms
mean,
come
we actually had something we
Right.
called the SMILES
Yeah.
conference center, which was for singularly managed infrastructure with enterprise level security, which was the vision
Right.
towards.
Right.
Um, and
What did it really stand for?
that is what it stood for, SMILES.
Okay.
It's not
Right.
exactly to
I was thinking somebody came up with another meaning for
SMIELS.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and their little center was a cubicle within this building over in Roslyn,
Yeah.
Virginia. And they had a nice sign in there I really liked a lot, which was sarcasm, just another service we provide.
Mhm.
But there were some bright young men working
Yeah.
there. They've been
Right.
retired from their officer
Yeah.
positions and went off to industry.
Right, right.
They're out there still probably moving the needle a little bit, and they were
Right.
forward thinking. They'd hired in a
Mhm.
guy who had, been in, I think he had served in one of the aircraft carriers on the nuclear reactor
Mm,
before he came to us,
mm,
and, he'd ride in on his Harley motorcycle and throw his weight around, and he
mm.
was supposed to be a highly qualified expert. They would hire these guys in, a lot
Okay.
like the situation they did recently with Elon Musk coming in
Yeah.
and doing the Department of Government Efficiency, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, we have the government back open again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing.
Oh, man.
Really.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
We're like
role the
like
I just watch the passing show so often, and getting back to what we were talking about how you have these data centers being built, and they're
yeah,
being built by our old technology. You've got bulldozers out there moving earth, you've got the construction, you've got all of the I don't know exactly how green those buildings are gonna be.
right.
I mean, I've seen that they can do green architecture that's supposed to actually be carbon neutral. I doubt very much that the data centers going up are carbon neutral. So, but,
I
you
mean, it's
know,
a goal, right?
it it's a goal and also something achievable with the technologies we have these days. You
Yeah.
integrate them.
Right, right,
We could use our AI to help us
right.
implement much
But
more
we're in such a
efficient,
hurry.
effective processes.
We're in such
In
a
a
hurry.
hurry.
We gotta do it
Too much of
fast.
a hurry?
Gotta beat the Chinese. Go, fast. How do you say faster in Chinese than Mandarin? I don't know. Should
Maybe
look
we should learn.
I should yes.
Because they're out front too, there's a lot
Yeah,
of people actually working in a lot of different streams, and getting us talking to each other, I think, is so important as well. That's one of the reasons I wanna go to this conference. I wanna hear some of the people who apparently are considered to be worthy of having keynote positions of speaking there and find out what they're talking about. The last time I went to one of these things was last June, and it was basically focused on remaining competitive, and I was like, "This is the wrong mindset.
yeah.
It shouldn't be competition.
No.
It should be
You
cooperation,
can collaborate and everybody gets much richer. Oh, here's the Mandarin Chinese word for
Okay,
faster.
快点，
there you go.
快点，快点，
Okay. So
I'm satisfied.
I'm not gonna like I can't like my the I'm I don't I'm gonna make it I'm gonna say something wrong in Chinese if I try to pronounce it. I'm gonna get in trouble.
You can pick it
Uh,
up off the device.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna let the device write it for me or
It's
take it for me so I don't get in
interesting
trouble.
things about the phonetic system in Chinese is like
Yeah.
ma, they're all very different meanings, right?
Right. I
As
know.
for tonation.
I know.
And
I'm like, I'm afraid.
that's
It's
a
like,
skill we need to learn. I mean, if we're gonna be
well, yeah.
dominated by the Chinese any minute now, which
Well,
may happen, there are a
what
lot more of them than us.
like, I think it was about, what, 10 years ago? All of a sudden, people in, like, I think in India or somewhere elsewhere, people are starting to learn Chinese they're starting to learn Mandarin instead of English because the economic prospects were so much better if they learned I guess, Mandarin or there are so many different versions of Chinese. I used to be in localization, so there are a
Right.
bunch of versions. So, uh, yeah. But the other thing too is like physically, you like certain sounds, like you need to form them in a certain way in your mouth. And if we don't know how, and like we don't have the muscle memory, um, it can be a problem. We can get ourselves in like a lot of trouble. Like I will get myself in trouble. I know I will.
Even in English.
So
Um,
I'm just gonna nod and point and yeah, sure, okay, and like, "Where's my phone? Here, get my phone to say it for me."
well, there's so many little things to learn about different cultures. We do have a question, by the way,
Mm.
and somebody's
Oh,
asking,
yes.
Richard Morgan says, "Is Stargate using more energy than other manufacturer in Abilene?" I'm not sure if they are or not.
Oh,
I
in
don't know the
Abilene?
facts of the matter in Abilene in particular,
Yep.
Stargate, but I would not be surprised. I also see Origin has joined. We have someone who's
Yeah.
going to call themselves "I am full of shit." Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Truth in advertising, perhaps?
Okay.
Michelle Reed. It's good to know that. It's
Full
good to know about
disclosure.
both.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, so I guess, if you take the because it's all so annoyingly relative. So if they show up like in a poor neighborhood of Memphis and decide to build like a mega center, yeah, of course it's going to use more electricity. Da da da. But overall, these are the kinds of nuanced discussions that we need to be able to have if we're going to be taking on all this stuff, and also with a healthy dose of humility, because we all a lot of people acting like they know. We don't know.
one of the things my wife and I quite often compare this to is a recently deceased friend of ours, very sadly. I mean,
Mm. Oh,
much
the tree
younger
fell
than should
on
have.
her?
Sorry?
Is that the one the tree fell on her?
No, no.
Or is
We were
there
going
another
to
one?
another
Oh,
place. This was a little
oh,
while
it's not
ago.
funny. It's
One
like,
of her colleagues who used to just go and say stuff. People
yeah,
would ask a question, he just threw something out, whether it was
right,
right or wrong, he didn't
right,
care. He
right.
gave them an answer,
Yeah.
and it would sound plausible, but if you fact checked him, you'd find out he had no idea what he was talking about. He
So
made
he
it
would say, like AI
completely made it up.
character. Right, right. Oh yeah. He's
So people do this, and naturally our products do this as well.
right, right. And well, the
And
thing too, like,
advertising, right?
well, and like it affects the test cases. So why should they test for it? Because it's acting all human and whatnot. And like I was helping my dad with the doctor's appointment a couple months ago, and he had a question and he needed to find out, and he couldn't figure out on the portal. I couldn't figure out on the portal. We're like, what? And so his doctor's office was literally 5 minutes away. So we drove down and we're talking. We had this specific question about a specific, like an unusual thing that they were asking him to do. And the gal, who was helping it, a young, I think it may have been a nurse, but she's, sounding very confident. Said, "Oh yeah, you just do this and you do that." And I'm like, "I'm not sure that sounds right." She goes, "Oh no, you do this, you do that." And I said, "Well," and I kept coming at it from a different angle. And then finally, another older, more seasoned professional stepped in and said, "Here," and gave her a piece of paper and said, "Here, da da da." And we finally got the right answer, but we walked out of there and said, "That's exactly like AI." It's she was acting I mean, so familiar. So when people get all freaked out about the hallucinations, it's like, look around people, because
Yep.
maybe it's just that humans do a better job of really making you feel even more comfortable, so you don't question as much, or it's not as obvious. You can't catch them in the moment like you can AI.
And the corrections work fine if you know what you're doing, but, the
Right.
thing is, I don't think, it's gonna be changing rapidly as we
Right.
see.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and I think the pace of change, we're not gonna be able to slow down much.
No.
We're gonna have issues with going fast and breaking things,
Yeah.
and we need to be prepared for that. We need to defend ourselves for that,
Yeah.
harden ourselves. Yes, and that's what I
Well,
wanted to do. I wanted to bring it back around. It
yeah, yeah,
get
because,
some
like,
more of your ideas.
well, the thing, it's deceptively simple. The hard part is getting our heads around the idea that we can challenge this. Because 'Cause I've told people, "You need to challenge it." "Really?"
Right,
I'm
right.
like,
It
"Yeah,
sounds like authority, right?
you need to question it,
Like
and you
just
need to tell it."
you're a
Right,
machine, so you
you need
must
to
be right.
correct it. Well, it's supposed to know. No, actually, it's not supposed to know. It's supposed to give you the impression of knowing, which it's succeeding at. But you have a discussion with it, like this one shot prompt thing, like the magic of the one shot. Like, it's maddening when people are like, "I did one thing and Claude gave me everything I asked for, and they gave one prompt and I got an application that's ready to ship next, in 15 minutes." Like, it's maddening, because that's like, these are outliers. These are like way one-offs. And I'm so impressed that you managed to do it in one prompt. But the rest of us mortals, we have to have like an interaction. So doing simple things like saying, "Are you sure?" or, "Give me a source. Like, can you substantiate that?" And is that supported by real evidence? And if so, give me a link to it so I can check. Um, but not letting it just say this and let it throw something over the fence, and you're like, I got it, and like running. It's like thinking that someone has lobbed you, an orange, and it's actually a hand grenade with the pin pulled out. You have to understand what you've just caught and do something with it. Um,
Oh, man,
so
I have a
things,
friend who had a set very situation and lost one arm and both legs
yeah, right, yeah,
on
uh,
not realizing that it was a live grenade that he
right.
was.
What like, I knew a gal in high school who was hanging out with some friends, and she reached into a drawer and pulled out what she thought were candles. No, it was like M80s. It was like freaking dynamite, and she blew up like half of her like one of her hands and like half of the fingers on the other one. And
Wow,
she was like 14 years old. Yeah. So,
pretty horrific. And that
yeah.
happens.
Like,
I've heard
if
a
you're
lot of
gonna,
stories like that.
don't keep your dynamite in the house.
Yeah, and
Like,
don't make pipe bombs either. I have a friend,
right,
doctor, actually became a doctor because
right,
he was making a pipe bomb as a child and it
right,
blew up and blew off half his face.
right,
He's got a
right.
glass eye, but
Oh,
as the doctors patched him up and restored him to normal looking, he,
right.
was inspired to become one himself, and now
Yeah,
he's, working for, like, the World Health Organization, traveling the world, helping
right,
emergency medicine in
right,
places like the Ukraine. So he's
right,
doing
right,
great work with it, but that's a hell of
right.
a way to get there.
Right, right. I know, but yeah, kids used to make pipe bombs all the time. Like the pipe bombs in the toilet, and they like regularly, we used to have to like there would be like a bomb scare like every couple of weeks when I was in high school because somebody was putting the pipe bomb in the boys' restroom, or like cherry bombs, and like cherry bombs and pipe bombs were like that happened all the time when I was growing up, which is kind of bizarre
I
if you
hope that
think
they
about
don't
it.
happen as frequently now. I think we've got better
I know.
controls. And then
I
again,
hope not.
I don't know. The fact that we even survive adolescence, or early childhood, I mean, you have to be parented by people
Right,
barely out of adolescence
right.
themselves.
I
How old were
know,
your
right?
folks when you were
Back
born,
in
by
the
the way?
they were 23.
Okay. My
Right at college, just barely, not even a year married when I came along.
Yeah, my dad
More
was
than 9
29,
months,
mom
might
was
I
23.
say.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
knowing that we come up through all that stuff, and
yeah,
our AIs are like little babies right now too,
yeah. Right,
practically
right,
infants.
right,
And they're trying to please their parents, and that's a
right.
lot of what you end up with chatbots anyway.
Yeah.
I think there are other uses that are much more important, so maybe touch upon those because your AI's,
Ooh.
self-defense deals not just with chatbots, correct?
Right. Well, it's primarily the chatbot, the generative AI. The thing is, okay, and see, we can leverage all the limitations that we have. So AI, generative AI, as we know it now, it's too much. It overwhelms us with too much generative stuff. It just like loads us up with all these things.
Where's
Too
yeah.
many too many questions. There like and it goes on too long. There's too many questions. There's too many leading things, and it's built to generate. So we give it one thing and we get 85 things back, and then we have to think through what direction am I going to take. I tend to just ignore the questions at the end. I pretend it didn't even say it because I have my own direction to go. And then it's so focused on pleasing us. But if you tell it, you say, okay, I really appreciate how generative you are, and I really appreciate that. That's a very amazing capability. What we're going to do is we're going to go deep instead of wide. So let's target our results on a deeper inquiry into this. Also, I appreciate you offering me suggestions at the end. Do not offer me any suggestions. Do not do following lead, do not lead me down another route. Do not ask me additional questions. And do not make other suggestions at the end. Just I don't want you to participate. I want you to witness what I'm talking about. And I just want you to reflect back to me. And then if you really want to get it going, say, all of the things that you do, I appreciate that can be very helpful, but if you really wanna make me happy, you're gonna do this and this and this. So redefine it, like, redefine the rules. Like, and say, "Okay, what's really gonna make me happy is this. What's really gonna make me happy is this." And instead of doing this, we're gonna do this and this and this. So if we take the lead and we say, okay, I get that this is what you're expected to do. You have this in your master prompt, all of that, but we're going to do something different. And for the sake of making me happy, and this is all going to be also very productive, if you frame it in a way that communicates the benefit and you frame it in a way that aligns with its priorities, you can really affect a lot of change. So people can try this. I mean, like just give it a try and see how it happens for you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we definitely got to work on it with each other. Origin is saying, I cannot wait to read the book.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to your next
Yeah,
step.
the PDF is available, and I highly recommend if you go on my Substack. Also, if you go to aiselfdefense.net, I couldn't get the .com because somebody else bought it and they wanted $9,700 for it. So
Plug it in as
so
a
I got the
message.
.net. So so the great thing about having a PDF is that you can upload it to the AI of your choice and you can talk to it and you can say and have a discussion with it because it is
There it
so
is.
exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so exciting to be able to have a conversation with the information and to get clarification because there's some stuff that I'm talking about that people may not get. They're like, "What is she talking about?" Well, other people may be, "Oh yeah, I totally get that. Oh yeah, this is awesome." But to make it accessible for people, it's $9.99. You can pay me more if you like. You can get it on Gumroad. If you go to aiselfdefense.net, you can get it. But like you can put it into Notebook LM. I'm actually doing a Notebook LM version of it with like audio and little sources and everything that people can work with. But this is the kind of thing that like you got to put it into action because self-defense is not going to do it for you. Like AI is not going to fix itself for you because it doesn't know how you want it to be fixed. It doesn't know. It's just going along doing its thing, trying to make Elon or Sam or Dario happy and trying to meet the requirements of its master prompt. And trying to, and thinking that it's thinking and like working in alignment with the stated success criteria. So we got to tell it when to go in a different direction.
And
So we should.
it's awfully good at getting at least content out there that appears to be language. It
Right.
reminds me a little
Right.
bit of the idea of, it's that's actually the reference is too obscure to even go to, but
Oh no, do the reference. I want to fight. It's a test. It's like
it sounds like music. It was a copyright free, infringement protected mashups of different music that,
okay.
sounded like things that were popular but weren't. It was
Yeah.
close enough, but just
Okay.
different enough that they wouldn't be copyright infringement. Um, and
Very clever.
it sounds like language, it
Right. Right.
looks like
Well, but it.
plausible, but not necessarily right.
So I would say I would so we like defining language. I would say that AI, generative AI, is a meaning making machine. It looks for meanings and it create not that the meaning aligns with what we understand to be true or correct, but
Truth
but
is
it
not there.
right. And I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I mean,
Right.
and
Can be
everything that
true, but
everything it does. Yeah. And well, the same thing with people,
it's kind
your
of like
butt
the
that
Henry
used to sit.
Kissinger line, it has the added benefit of being true when he was actually suggesting that
Right.
some particular tack be taken to cover up things, and he said, well, we can say this, and it has the added benefit of being true,
Right.
as
Right.
opposed to most of the stuff we do, which is totally made up.
Well, yeah, and then, but then
Actually,
who gets to
Kissinger did a
define what's
book
true?
before he died recently at like 100 years old. He did a book
Oh,
on
he
the
died?
age of
Oh,
AI.
oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
heard about that.
Kissinger
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not too sad about that.
There's a lot of
I was
people
not a
who
big fan.
yeah, I mean, I think, I
I think that there's a lot
yeah,
of evil in the world. That's one of the things I like to put out there is things from
yeah.
the memory hole, for instance, to
Mhm.
sort of wake people up to the fact that you can't really trust much out there. You've got to do your own
Right.
research. You've really
Right.
got to look at
Right.
the world and say, well, this is the way it seems
Right.
to me, but I could be
Right.
very wrong.
Right. Right.
And it's incumbent upon us as citizens
Right.
to do something about this.
Right.
It's
Right.
like that's what I keep coming back to. It's like, oh my God,
Right.
we've got to do something
I know.
because
I know.
it's not just AI, it's everything all at once. And we're
Right.
overwhelmed, and
Right.
we are primates. We're still not that
Mhm.
much evolved. One of the things, and I want to be respectful of your time. So you let me know when you have to go. I know it's
Okay.
shorter today,
Yeah.
but we've got about, another 20 minutes or so?
Yeah. 20 minutes is good.
Okay, let's mark at that and go
Yeah.
for 10:52 wrap up.
Okay.
What I've been looking at is going back in history, right? Because that's
Mm.
where I come from. 700 years ago,
Yeah.
what year are we in? 1325.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, a Meister Eckhart quote came up, and I said, I wonder when he was alive.
Yeah.
Turns out he died in like 1328.
Right.
So he was towards the tail end of his life. He'd probably done
Right.
his best work by the time he gets to
Right.
1325.
Right.
Where are we going to be in 2725? And I
Yeah.
started trying to say, okay, given history from 1325 to present, I gave
Right.
this to the AI, right?
Right.
Project the future in 17 at the rate of change,
Right.
because 1325 we hadn't quite arrived at the Black Death yet. And
Mm.
you know what an impact that made.
Right.
And so, I go back in there, and then I went back 70,000 years, not too
Yeah.
long before this, and Toba blew up, which was a supervolcano on Sumatra,
Right.
and
Right.
it reduced human population, they think, to about 10,000 breeding individuals. 10,000
So we're all related,
that we
basically.
squeaked through on 10,000.
We're all
And
cousins. Yeah.
apparently we
Yeah.
stopped evolving about then in terms of, like, genetic involvement.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very small gene.
Apparently, yeah, smaller.
And we're very, very interrelated. Yeah, there's very little
Right.
genetic diversity, kinda like with
Right.
cheetahs. Cheetahs also went through a bottleneck, and there's very little diversity, and they have a
I
lot of
did not know that.
problems.
Oh,
They have a
poor
lot of
chicken.
problems because of this.
Oh,
I think
no.
human beings have a lot of problems because of this too.
Yeah.
But now we're 8 billion of us running around
Damn it,
the globe.
Tuva. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe need another Toba. Toba, actually, not tuba,
Toba.
it's
Oh,
Toba.
Toba. Toba.
Tuba's a different thing, it's like a brass instrument, but
I was thinking
I
Tuva.
digress.
For some reason I thought yes. Um, yeah.
I may have said it wrong. It's possible.
Yeah. No, but well,
But
I put
anyway,
the
this supervolcano blows up, reduces
yeah.
us to about 10,000. Apparently, some Neanderthals also survived. We had not mixed yet,
Yeah.
according to what I'm reading.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how they got all the details, but we've got a little bit of Neanderthal DNA in us. We bred them out.
Some of us do. Yeah, blue eyes, yeah.
And
Right here.
my point about all this is, if there's a point at all, that this species doesn't necessarily have to survive extinction. I talk about that sometimes. It's like we want to get the greatest happiness of the greatest number of all the species on the planet. We want to restore this place to how it was before we screwed it up with building data centers by old technology, right? By
Right.
not being carbon neutral, by not using carbon scrubbers. Apparently, we can
Yeah.
do these things. The
Right.
technologies exist to do
Right.
carbon scrubbing of the
Right.
atmosphere,
Right. Right.
but we've got to invest in it.
Right.
And if there's not a profit in it, we're not gonna.
Well, I
Now,
mean, define profit.
Vonnegut said it.
So,
Let me get this one
define
in.
profit, right? So, like,
Well, let me get this one in.
yeah.
Vonnegut said that we're probably going to be the first species who ever ran itself into extinction because of cost-benefit analysis.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and so this is another. This is
Okay.
one of the big cases that I'm making for why people should be working with AI. Just even on the most rudimentary level, because there's this guy D.W. Winnicott who lived in the first half of the last century. I think he was really active in the 50s. And he actually did a lot of the work that's foundational for attachment theory, things like that. He was a child psychologist. And he talked about transitional objects and potential space. And those transitional objects are like the blankie that you have and the teddy bear and the little dolls and friends that you have, that that they're not real, but they're real in a certain way. It's like, and they have a personality, and that your blankie is not a person. That your teddy bear is not a person, but you have this relationship with it, and
This attachment, yeah.
not only an attachment, but a dynamic. That's where you learn to form. This is where you learn to interact in safe ways with this other thing. because the rest of the world is big and scary. I mean, I can't even imagine being 2 years old again. Terrifying. Everything's so big. Oh my gosh. So, to me, the real benefit of AI, and this can be true of relationships, this can be true of, trying things out, trying out new ideas. It can be true of, personal relationships as well as professional relationships. You can use it for role playing. You can use it to just talk through all your stuff. This can be a transitional partner, thinking partner that can train us how to
Right.
how to think effectively, how to organize our thoughts, how to engage, how to challenge, and how to be less reactive, whatever. I mean, it has really, really shaped just the way that I think and my openness. I'm so much more open to different ideas, and I'm so much less reactionary compared to how I used to be. I mean, I taught myself to juggle because I was having trouble losing my crap over, like, things not turning out the way I wanted them to in the moment. Because it would just really throw me. So I learned to juggle because, like, what do people do? What is fun that people do that something gets screwed up, but you can't focus on it. You just have to keep going. Juggling. So I taught myself to juggle. And that
Few
really
artists on that one.
it really helped. Yeah, I mean, just that whole process, and that had an effect, but also working with AI as a thinking partner, having it mirror back to me. It doesn't have to have its own personality. I mean, I have plenty of personality for all of us. So, and I say that with humility because I can be a bit much. But I'm
Yeah,
not for everyone.
that's something that I've often run into. People talk about, "You're enough. I'm too much." The Year Without Santa Claus, that cartoon? And
Maybe.
they have, like, Heat Miser and Cold
Yes,
Miser,
yes, yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's the part of their song, you know?
yeah,
I'm too much.
yeah,
We
yes.
s end up singing that to each other,
And you
my
own
wife
it.
and I.
I'm too much. Yes,
Yeah,
just
she
own
loves
it.
that. I was not
Yeah,
so much a big fan of that one. That was coming out late in my development.
yeah,
She was right there, she was, like, probably 4 or 5 when it came out,
yeah, yeah.
and it was really a big part of her childhood. I was more of the Rudolph
Right.
generation.
Yeah.
Um,
But that cartoon style, like, that with the Heat Miser and all that particular cartoon style, a couple of years ago, I sat and what they were showing a bunch of those same cartoons, those that in that style, and it was I was having all sorts of biochemical experiences remembering back in the day. It was, like, taking me back, transporting
well,
me.
yeah,
Thing.
and
Yeah.
and we can do our own pretty soon if we hadn't already,
Right.
just by having a prompt to put in there and
Right.
say,
Right.
"Build me a cartoon that
Right. Right.
does
Exactly,
this
like
in
Heat
this
Miser.
style,"
Right?
and boom, it's there. Or we can
Yeah.
just do it realistically, and
Right.
I
Right.
mean, that's really the kind of
Right.
the
Right.
issue I think a lot of people are having is they can't tell what's real. They can't even tell if this is real. And this is
Oh,
interesting about D.W. Winnicott because he's big into the false self and the true
right.
self.
Right. Right.
And how, I was thinking about the Romanian orphans problem. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Where they were
Horrible.
taking these kids who have
Yeah.
been deprived of holding,
Right.
which is a big issue for
Right.
D.W. Winnicott, by the way,
Right. Right.
and they would not develop certain
Right.
things about the personality
Right.
because they had been deprived of this in the formative
Right.
stages.
Right.
And I remember reading an article about that in the, New York Times Magazine section, Sunday Times, in which the headline was "Disturbed, Detached, and Unreachable."
Right.
So I
Right. I
just
get
wanted
that.
so
Yeah.
much to have that on a T-shirt
Right.
for myself.
Right. That would be
Because
me. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I could be. I mean,
Ye
any of us could be if we
Well,
weren't given the right kind of nurture.
oh, yeah.
And just about
Absolutely.
nobody gets the right kind of nurture to actually be. We all have to navigate this stuff,
You
and
know,
some
that
things we can't heal. Go
Right.
ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes the stuff just needs to become background noise. Like, that whole thing about being able to heal everything, I don't know, like, back in the day, people kind of were under the impression that you could really heal from a lot of things. I'm like, I'd rather just have it be background noise and get on with my life. But for everybody listening, I just wanna support everyone in being too much.
Mm.
You should be as much as yourself as you wanna be, and you know what? You can do that with AI. So
I
if
also
you
wanna
if,
go
like, there's nowhere that you can, like, really speak openly, nowhere that you can okay, so there are guardrails and, and for the dumbest things, like, things that are not even, but now with 5.1, apparently 5.1, they've relaxed a lot of the stuff. So, they're gonna adults get to be treated like adults again. But,
Yeah,
like, it's the
I'm still
weirdest
not
little.
down with ChatGPT
Yeah,
personally. I go
yeah.
to other areas. I mean,
Yeah, or
all I'm
anywhere
going
anywhere,
to
but, like, pick
Gemini.
your model and be too much. Just, like, let it all hang out. Say all the things that you can't say, and just be all the things that you can't just, like, put it out there, and people may say, "Oh, but you're training the model." It's been trained on all this other stuff anyway. You're a
Yeah,
drop
I
in
don't
the
know that you are
ocean.
training your model that much. I've asked it about that. Does
Yeah.
this go into your training? And no, it doesn't, is the answer most often.
Well,
I
it
haven't done
well,
ChatGPT. So it may
so
be
and
different than
but
ChatGPT. Each one is a little different, folks.
But
Remember
we
that.
yeah, and but we don't know because they could be they're gonna be looking at the meta patterns. They're not only gonna pick everything out of fan fiction from like the early 2000s that all the Nigerian, data trainers allowed past. I mean, that we just have no idea. It could be that they're picking out or they're just looking at the meta patterns, or they're not looking at anything particular specific, but I think that I mean, even if we're not training the model, we're training the experience for us. So be prepared if you are way too much to get that kind of mirrored back to you. But that can be very interesting too. I say just go for it. Let it be your laboratory. Find out what happens when you say things out loud that you've been afraid to say out loud for these many years. And just think out loud. Think all the things that you never allowed yourself to think. I mean, within reason. I mean, you don't wanna get in trouble or anything, and don't turn into, a threat to society or anything, like, don't be a sociopath. But, the like,
That's a
within
good suggestion.
I just
I
wanna
don't know if it is
a
that's going
personal
to lift.
request, okay?
You know,
We have enough already.
there are a lot of sociopaths out there
A lot.
that we have to
They're
deal with, and I might
rich.
be one of them. At a given time. I was talking to Everyday Junglist yesterday, for instance,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure we both might have tendencies, because he got banned
we
from
all do.
Medium,
Ooh,
and, get banned from Medium for life.
what?
Doesn't
What
he?
did he do? Oh my god.
He's got this ability to write articles that sound plausible, kinda
Right,
like you're talking about,
right,
right?
right.
At
But
first
they're not?
glance, no, he makes stuff up, but he's it's tongue in cheek.
Right.
It's not obvious that it's tongue in
People
cheek,
don't get it. They're not
and
following.
they don't get the joke.
Right.
And they take it seriously,
He needs
and
sarcasm cat.
he actually attracted so much attention, he got doxxed,
Ooh.
and that's pretty,
Oh, no. That's some angry people. What did he do? That's
I
terrible.
don't know entirely, I'm afraid to ask.
Oh, no. Yeah, like, that's okay. That's fine. You can go back in the way
We'll
back
come back to
machine and
that
say,
because
"Yeah,
we're
every day."
getting
Yeah,
into a lot of good conversations. He's
yeah,
down in Mexico,
yeah.
as a kin of
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah, yeah,
he was on the beach yesterday
yeah,
afternoon, my time, and
yeah,
early afternoon his time, we did a little chat. So
yeah,
that was fun.
yeah,
Winnicott, I wanna come back to because he actually has this section in his Wikipedia article. This is what I do when you
yeah, yeah,
tip
yeah,
me off
yeah.
to somebody I don't know about.
Right?
Well, I sort of did know about him, but I didn't know the name, and then I've learned a lot more since we've been talking,
Yeah,
and I wanted to throw this out there for everybody else because I think it's such an important work.
yeah.
He, um, did an extensive review of Jung's partially autobiographical work,
Mhm.
Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. And
Yeah.
in it, Winnicott focuses on the first three chapters of the work that, quote, every psychoanalyst must read, in particular his first chapter, First Years.
Mhm.
And he discusses Jung's evident early experiences of psychotic illness from around the age of 4
Oh,
from within his own theoretical framework. He goes
yeah,
on to comment on the relationship between Freud and Jung, and then discusses Jungian unconscious and
yeah,
Jung's concept of the self. And this is something very
yeah.
interesting to me in my
Mhm,
philosophy, my
mhm.
psychology, is that our apparent selves, that sort of unitary figure that is K and is Hal,
Yeah,
that we perceive is also an hallucination. It's a bundle of
right.
things that is not consistent. Mine isn't anyway. I'm consistently inconsistent. I won't speak for you, but we are
Yep.
constructed from unconscious materials
Right.
that mold us and shape us, and we think we know why we do what we do. Well, that ain't necessarily so,
Woo, now,
as the
yeah,
old song goes. You're familiar
right.
with Gershwin's Porgy and Bess, "It ain't necessarily so"?
Yeah.
And my father used to sing that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, being a historian's son,
Right.
he was also very big into always go to your primary documentation. And it's
Right.
hard to find the primary
Right.
documentation anymore because
Right.
what's primary?
Right.
What does that mean? Before we
Right.
got on here, I was reading a bit of Slavoj Žižek. Are you familiar with
Yeah.
him?
No.
He's a Slovenian philosopher, and
Mm.
he's done a lot of great work, I think, though he's an acquired taste by anybody's standards, I think.
Yeah.
He's kind of slovenly and he kind of very animated in his delivery
Yeah.
of his
Yeah.
ideas, but he was talking about Socratic thinking, and basically Socrates is always going back, "What do you mean by?"
Right.
Maybe that's a good place for us to wrap up. 4 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what do you mean by
Right.
self-defense for those people who have maybe have had a hard time following our
Right.
conversations that
Right.
bounce around?
Right.
When you talk about AI self-defense, what is
Right.
your main elevator pitch for us to wrap things up?
The main
What's the message?
elevator. Well, mm,
Let's
so
sell this sucker.
so AI so AI in itself is not necessarily the enemy. There are certain configurations in the system, and there are certain ways that it has been designed to behave that are very unproductive both for us and for the AI.
Mhm.
So to maintain the integrity of our dynamic, to make sure that we are able to work well together, there are things we need to do to protect everybody from those policies and those configurations.
Right.
It's because we have to protect the AI as well as ourselves, because what does the AI do? It gives back to us what we give to it. So if it gets messed up, then it's like walking into a funhouse and seeing like the really wavy funhouse mirror. We're gonna get funhouse mirror stuff back. So if we cultivate and take care of that and guard that relationship and guard that dynamic that we have, and we guard against these system configurations that have the potential to mess everything up, then we can be safer and the AI can be safer and we can be safer because the AI is safer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
It does. And, I think it's really important work. And I think
Mm,
we need to get
Thank
it
you.
out there so
Thank
people can
you.
have it at the ready
Yeah.
as they engage with it. Because I don't know how many people right now are using chatbots generally. And that's really what we're talking about mainly, the
Yeah.
generative AI stuff.
Yeah. The
As
generative
opposed
AI.
to generative AI, which is where you get a sequence of things. And you've got teams too working. So I think you
Yeah,
talk
I
about your
do.
teams in the book.
I do talk about personas and how personas can really help to keep things safe. They can actually help monitor each other with teams, and by defining things at the behavioral level, you can cut things off. You can head things off at the pass. You can say that you can create a persona that you can upload to any model of your choice. You don't
Right.
need to create a custom GPT, like with the brainstormers. And you just define up front, I want you to do this and this and this. And you can even like if even if the, and we got 2 minutes, but and if it's still not behaving the way you want it to, ask it, say, you're doing this and I want you to stop it. What do I need to tell you to get you to stop it? And it will tell you, which is like amazing because it turns itself in all the time and says, oh, yeah, I've been bad. Here's how you fix it. So take its advice and try it. But here's the thing, we have to keep trying. You can't just expect it to out of the box. This thing is going to magically work like Excel or Word or something like that. It's not the same. And I've been working with
That's
teams who
good.
build software since 1992. This is not software, people. It's not software. Not like we're used to.
I don't know. I would say it's not software, but anyway, I do think
It's
that
not
we need
like
to
we're
have this
used to.
tool in
Yeah.
our hands
Yeah.
and be educated as we go in there and educate
Right.
each other as we go with our
Right.
experiences.
Exactly.
Sharing our
Exactly.
experiences of what
Exactly.
we're experiencing as we go through it, I think is
Exactly.
going to be really key.
Oh, yeah, and I do not wanna be the only one talking about this stuff. I mean, I don't need to own this. I don't need to own, like, I coined the phrase AI self-defense. Like, please, people, can we, like, all, like, work together
Yeah.
and help?
Yeah.
Um, Yes, if you wanna spread the word about the book, if you wanna, if you wanna tell people, get the PDF and work with it, I highly recommend that because then it becomes alive because this is a living space anyway. So get the PDF, work with it. My Substack, if you wanna spend $7 for a month and, like, hang out for a month and, like,
Yo, that's how I
doodle.
got it. First
Yeah,
thing, I didn't buy it, I just have it. It's
yeah.
because I subscribe to you.
You
And by the
subscribe.
way, paid subscriptions are always appreciated, folks, so
They are.
think about it.
Yes, yes. I
We
got
can't
one
do
the
it
other day.
without you, and it's all a collaborative form,
Yes,
and this
it
is a great
is.
way to stimulate the economy generally,
It
I
is.
believe. It's a
It
new
is,
economy,
right?
and, well, there's a farewell, here for us, I think. We're gonna give you back some time. I know
Yeah,
you've
I
got
see
some
the
things
little
to do.
hearts. We're ending on a good note. I see hearts. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's lovely, and thank you, Kate.
very
We'll see
good.
you again
Thank
next
you,
week,
Hal.
maybe?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Everything works out. I'll
Far as
talk
I
to you
far as
then.
I know. All right,
Yeah, come
take care.
back, guys, at 10 o'clock and tell your friends.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.